Hi, and welcome to a demonstration of how to set up a rule to trigger Auto-PTZ in combination with outdoor people tracking through the Aimetis Symphony 7 VMS. To begin, log into Symfony's web-based administrator client. Once you are logged in, ensure you have a camera enabled with both Auto-PTZ and the outdoor tracking analytic enabled. You can see we've already done this by selecting the Axis Q6032 camera. This is a PTZ camera, and if you scroll down to the add-on section of the camera configuration, you will see PTZ auto tracking and outdoor people and vehicle tracking analytics are turned on. By clicking Configure on the outdoor people and vehicle tracking analytic, you can see we have already refined the processing mask limiting the area of interest. This refines the area of the screen that we will be analyzing for motion and tracking objects. It's important that this includes the alarm mask and is the area of interest. This is important for when we configure the rule in the future. Once you have the desired processing mask, scroll down to the calibration section. As you can see here, I've selected manual calibration, enabling us to define the camera's height, distance, and angle from the ground, and also adjust the location of people into the scene. In this example, we have some vehicles in the background of this particular scene and helps with reference points for adjusting your calibration. You can further make changes to the distance and position of the camera by clicking the camera and moving it around until the perspective of the people in the scene are at an optimal size. Once you've made the needed adjustments, click OK to finish configuring the outdoor tracking to define and track the motion of vehicles and people moving through your scene. Now that we've configured the outdoor people and vehicle tracking analytic, we need to ensure the PTZ auto tracking analytic is turned on, and then we are going to configure its settings. We need to make sure the default settings are there under the overview. This is the analytic that actually takes tracked objects and follows them, sending the position of those tracked objects to the PTZ camera, instructing it where to pan, tilt, and zoom in and out in order to follow the object in motion. Now we need to set up a rule. Click OK to exit the overview settings page. Before moving on to setting up the rule connecting the two analytics, it's important to adjust the tracking mask. In order to do that, you have to first click Generate Image. This can take several moments as instructions are being sent to the PTZ camera to do a full rotation that stitches together a full 360-degree view. The image that is then generated, you must mask the area of interest in which you would like to track objects. This will allow us to identify the areas within the full potential scene of the PTZ camera, how far away and in which positions we would like those people and vehicles to be tracked. With the generated image, you will be able to mask out areas where you don't expect people to be tracked or where you don't want to track them. You can now see the full 360-degree image stitched together, allowing you to refine and create the mask inside the 360-degree view where you'd like to track objects in the scene. Once you have established the desired mask, click Save. Now that both analytics are enabled and configured, we need to set up a rule that will connect the two analytics together. To set up rules, click the Rules tab at the top of the screen. For this example, we've already created a rule that stitches together the two analytics called Detect and Track Objects. If you're creating a new rule, you can click Add above the list of already established rules. To discover the properties of the rule in question, double-click the rule in the list. We've provided the rule with a name and an event. We'll edit the object detected event by clicking Edit. This is essentially us selecting this camera and its outdoor people and vehicle tracking motion analytic that we've selected previously. You can adjust the class of objects, and in this case, we want to detect any moving object, no matter if it's a person, vehicle, or unknown object in the scene, and throw an alarm. Any part of its track is within this area. As you can see, we've already created an alarm mask here that says if any tracked object enters the area that I have masked, then we want the camera to trigger an action. You will define what that action is in a moment. As you can see, we've made this mask slightly smaller than the tracking mask that we set up previously. Once your mask is set up, we head back to the rule itself and scroll down to the Actions section and click Edit. Here you want to head down to the Zoom section and ensure Auto Tracking is selected. Once that is complete, the final aspect of the rule to define is the schedule. In this example, we've created a schedule called 24/7 that can then be edited. It's very easy to define the schedule by clicking and dragging across the days and times laid out in the graphic, labeling those times you want the rule to either be active or inactive. Once you have the schedule you want the camera to use, click Save. Now your rule is set to be applied to the camera, tying together the two analytics. What will happen is that anytime an object, person, or vehicle is detected in the defined area, the PTZ camera will be told to pan, tilt, zoom, and track the object for as long as it is within the tracking area that we defined in the 360-degree image mask earlier. Thank you for watching and learning how to set up a rule to trigger Auto-PTZ in combination with outdoor people tracking with the Aimetis Symphony 7 VMS.